All right, so today rather, the market might experience some range, because we don't have any, serious fundamental event for today. Good morning, Ifeanyi Anselm, Emmanuel Abel. Good morning, sir. Good morning, good morning. And Peter Chicks, good morning to you too. Thanks for the feedback. So like I said, today market may range. 9 a.m. there'll be German IFO business climate. It's a medium impact event, so we don't really expect much volatility in the market. And the next event after that would be the new home sales from the United States by 3 p.m. and it's equally a medium impact event. So the market may experience some risk. So you have to trade with a lot of caution. All right, I'll switch over to the chart now. We'll look at what we're having on the chart from a technical perspective. Now, I'm putting my attention a lot on the, XRP. This is XRP on the 4-hour time frame. Price has been generally in an uptrend. Price has been in an uptrend. I believe you can hear me clearly, please. All right, so price has been in an uptrend and price currently is approaching, as in this is an uptrend movement. All right, thank you. Okay, round taking. I would have preferred you put your real name there, but nonetheless, it's still your feedback is appreciated. Price has been trending up, and then we have a confluence point with a recent resistance turned, which is trying to turn support with a falling wedge. If price would drop to this region where we see the resistance on support and trend line meet, that will lead to a bullish trigger on the XRP. And this is very much possible in the course of today. So I'd like you to pay a lot of attention to XRP today. Good morning, Mr. Tony Boo and Mr. John. Good morning to both of you. So we're expecting now, recently, price actually dropped briefly. Let me zoom out. All right, you can see that price dropped, but then it didn't touch that confluence. We may see a movement, but if price will come to touch both the trend line and the resistance on support, then we may expect a bullish movement on the XRP at that point. And if you want to do swing, well, that means you want to wait for price to clearly break out above the 4-hour before you trigger. But if you are a day trader, or a scalper, you may come down to 1 hour or 15 minutes and catch, the move early, where you can get an early entry from somewhere, around here. Either ways, either as a day trader, scalper, or swing trader, we're expecting a slight bearish movement before the bullish breakout on XRP, possibly in the course of today. So please put your attention on XRP. I'll go straight away to the dollar. Now, all week we've been having this bullish outlook on the dollar, but so far I've not seen much of that bullish movement. Possibly we may experience it today or not, or tomorrow, anytime. But then that bullish outlook still holds, due to the previous candle on the weekly time frame that hit the support on the weekly time frame right there on the dollar index. I still hold on to that bullish breakout, still expecting it on the dollar. Though the week started very quiet for the US dollar, but then as the week progresses, today is Wednesday. All right, we started seeing some slight bullish movement on the USD CHF. Don't forget, I said this is an inverse head and shoulder forming, which may lead to a bullish trigger. Now, we have new home sales in the afternoon by 3 p.m. If the news comes out good for the dollar, even though it's medium impact, you may trigger a buy on the dollar. At least price will target this minor resistance. But if you're there, you want to trade it as a swing, then I will advise you wait for price to clearly break out above the neckline. So we anticipate a bullish movement on dollar today if the news comes out good for the dollar in the afternoon. The sentiment for the dollar is actually bullish generally. So if the news supports that sentiment, we expect to see a further bullish break on the US dollar. Now, gold has been trending high for some time, like I've always said, but then at this point, we need to still be cautious. Between Monday and yesterday, gold trended as high as over 400 pips within 2 days. It's been a phenomenal move, though difficult to catch except you've been on a bullish trade all along. But then we're still watching closely to see the next move on gold to know the next thing to do. If you are a gold trader, I will still advise you trade with a lot of caution. Now, the recent geopolitical issue around gold now is the fact that United Nations has recognized Palestine as a nation. You know, United Nations in conjunction with the UN states, they've accepted Palestine as a nation, though Israel is yet to agree, because modalities still have to be worked out as regards ceasefire for the ongoing tension between Israel and Hamas, Israel and Gaza, and all those areas. So that may actually be what has led to this recent surge in gold. There's still a lot of political issues around it. It may be the recent, because I had to do research yesterday to know what has just led to the strength we've seen in gold in the last couple of days. But then I will still look onto these regions. I will still see it as a range, and look out for possible breakouts in the course of today. Just a second. I'm trying to get the rectangle box into this. Okay, I'm not getting the box in. So let me just use the horizontal line tool. All right. So we still have that range over there on the 1 hour. Price is just right in the middle of the range. So if price breaks out upwards, we may look for an opportunity to buy. If it breaks out downwards, we may look for an opportunity to sell. Now, if though these patterns have not been sustained lately, if it wants to break out to this downside, this can give us like a head and shoulder for the downside if it works. But trade gold with utmost caution at this period. Generally, if there's a breakout below, it will sell. Above this range, it will buy. Just take note. Those are the two range levels I'm watching for gold for now. So let's take note of that. And since we have a bullish outlook on the dollar, the USD CHF, we still maintain our bearish stand on the GBP USD. We're still bearish. So if a breakout happens in the course of today, you can trigger a sell on the GBP USD. The market has just been generally very quiet, yesterday. So we're not really having any much of any new setup like that, except for USD CAD. I'm really watching this one very, very closely. And a lot might depend on how this works out. Canada and energy goes hand in hand. Now, this is my outlook. Even though we're bullish on the dollar, there might be some slight bearish movement on the USD CAD, which I want you to pay very close attention to. Now, for the USD CAD, on the daily time frame, we can clearly see that price is, around this trend line where it's trending downwards, and we equally have a resistance there. So that's a point right here will be a confluence point where the trend line and the resistance, meet. Let's take it down to 4 hours for clarity. You can see price, you can see the resistance here. You can see the resistance right here. So if price will enter into this box completely, the next wave of movement for the USD CAD will be a bearish movement. I want you to take note of that strictly for the USD CAD, and price seems to be testing that resistance. Price is testing it currently. So possibly in the course of today, if price will just make some slight uptrend into this zone where you have a confluence between the resistance and the trend line, then we will expect a bearish movement on the USD CAD. And it may not be so much, but then it's just might be good enough for you to catch, some intraday movement on the USD CAD. And the potential of this can be on the average between 23 to about 34 pips. I mean, which is not bad for an intraday movement. So let's watch out for USD card in the course of today. And finally, let me check one other instrument and we'll be done. I just talked about gold, Darlington. Maybe you joined us late. Price can break out to the upside or downside on gold. It depends on where the market goes. Okay, I'll look at BTC. Okay. Okay. I was trying to check the US oil. I've been watching it lately. Okay. All right. There was a breakout yesterday on this, but then the swing side may take over in the course of today. So let me go to the daily time frame. Okay, so this is the US oil. I think I showed this analysis earlier, if I remember, if I can recollect correctly. But I've been watching it for quite some time in the last couple of days. We have an uptrend on the daily time frame, and an inverse head and shoulder is forming right here. Yesterday was a bullish movement. There is a neckline region here. If price breaks out above this neckline, we will see a sustained bullish movement on the US oil. So we have a confluence there, the trend line, the inverse head and shoulder, and thirdly, there is a minor support level. Let me confirm that again. Okay, no, that area is not a confirmed one. Yes, this region. Okay, that's it. So we have a support zone between here and over there. So we have an uptrend, a support, an inverse head and shoulder. What we're anticipating next is a bullish breakout. Yesterday was already, the bull has actually started, but then it's not yet perfect for an entry. If it was a 1 hour entry, that would have been a good one. But then what I'm seeing now, we can do it more on the 4 hour. So if you go to the 4 hour time frame, this is what we're going to have. In fact, we can make an early entry before the breakout of the neckline. Just a second. Okay. So looks like my rectangle box is not working today. All right. So that area is a neckline region. So price may retrace a little and break out. At least the move between here and that breakout, if you are a scalper, you can catch it. That can give you on the average. Let me check. That can give you on the average about 85 pips. Then if price breaks above the neckline, that is when the swing actually starts. Then you can have a more sustained move. You can target this region and the next one up there. So we're bullish on the US oil. I want us to take note of that. So I'll check BTC and we should end the class from there. Okay, I'm seeing some other requests. NAS 100 DJ30 BTC AED card. All right, let's see how that goes. BTC USD. All right, so BTC is still dancing around this trend line from the daily time frame. Okay. So you can see some higher low, higher low, and higher low. So we might be expecting some uptrend. Yes, I know I've said that this may be giving us a head and shoulder. If price breaks out below, fine, but then it may still do some retest before the breakout happens. It all depends on how market condition really comes. But currently, since it's forming a rejection around that daily time frame, we need to give it some attention. You can see it's forming a rejection candle around this area. We can't ignore that area. We cannot ignore it. So let's go down to 1 hour. Let me go down to 15 minutes and check. Okay, now this is my view. I'm seeing this, but there may be a retest before a further continuation. So we take this current candle as a recent high. All right. So we take this candle as a recent high. You can see the current candle is trying to trend downwards. I think this is trying to form an inverse head and shoulder retest, then breakout. So watch out for that move in the course of today on BTC USD, a retest to the trend line, then a breakout above the trend line. You can take a buy afterwards. Don't take a buy now. Yes, I know it has broken the trend line, but just watch out. I have some experience with this. I believe there should be a retest before the breakout happens. So watch out for that. So we're bullish on BTC, but then we're waiting for a retest first, then a breakout. So watch out for that in the course of today. And I think somebody puts a DJ30 if I'm correct. AUD card, NAS 100 DJ30. So okay, this is DJ30. Let me check NAS 100. DJ30 is not giving clarity for now. So let's check NAS 100. Okay, this is NAS 100. Let's go to the daily. All right, so price on the daily time frame, price is touching the trend line as it's making higher highs. This is the first touch, second touch. There's a third one here. We may expect a decline from that area. That's on the daily. So let's go down to 4 hour. Okay, on the 4 hour, there's been a slight bearish movement. Then we'll take it down to 1 hour. All right, on the 1 hour, we have a rising wedge and a possible head and shoulder forming. A shoulder, a head. We may be getting ready for a bearish breakout on NAS 100. So that person asking, please watch out for a possible bearish breakout on NAS 100. in the course of today. You may either want to wait for that trend line to be broken, or you just let's check the neckline region first so that I can guide you better. Okay, I think it's better. Just wait for price to break both the neckline and that trend line around this area. RSI is already below 50 mark. This is already below zero. So it's really getting set for that bearish movement. So if a new candle breaks out below that trend line and the next line, you can trigger a sell. But please make sure you trade with a lot of caution. This instrument can be very, very volatile. So take a trade with a lot of caution. Possibly your target should just be the next minor support level, which will be somewhere around here, and we should be out of the market if price gets to that level. All right, so we're bearish on NAS 100. Please ignore DJ30 for now. It's not clear. Though most of the time they go in the same direction, but just focus on the one that has a higher probability. Don't dump it. Don't say because NAS 100 is going to sell, so DJ30 should sell at the same time. They are different instruments, though very correlated, but the volatility varies for both of them. AUD card. All right, AUD card broke out. I think there was an AUD news in the course of the night. So price is trying to make its way up